Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Thursday, April 23rd. I am on time this morning. I had prided myself on being on time. Good morning, good morning. How is everybody doing? I hope your Tuesday is great. It is 10:16 here on the East Coast. How are you this morning? Thank you for coming in. And if you are coming in, please make sure you hit that like, share, and subscribe on your way in. Hey, Miss Toby, how are you, love? Chakra King, good morning, good morning, good morning. Please hit that like, share, and subscribe. If you feel moved to donate to the coffee fund, it's $, the real K Fit, or either send a super chat for the goals. We would absolutely appreciate that as well. Tell a friend to Weedy. Hey, girl. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to come on in. We've got a couple things to talk about. I hope everybody's morning is going great. Make yourself comfortable. Speak to people, get to know somebody new, kick your feet up, and we're going to talk about everything politics in plain English. But first, guys, my hair is a little crazy this morning because me and my son were riding scooters. Yes, we were riding scooters at 8 a.m. and it was so much fun. We had a blast because we actually have scooters. We had a blast this morning. We had breakfast and scooters. And it just, we were riding them indoor and outside, inside and outdoor, inside through the hallway. I know people are like, oh my God, you look, yes. Sometimes you've got to break the rules with your kids. Like, just sometimes it's okay, right? No one was injured in any of those activities, but we did have a good morning this morning. I always like to start off doing something fun with him and just experiencing life. You know what I'm saying? Just really getting into it. I am here at finals, so guys, pray for me. Send me a coffee or something. Finals are tough, but it is going to be well worth it, as well as I'm studying for the LSAT, which is not easy, but guess what? Nothing good comes easy, right? So always do the hard, right? Always do the hard. It will be most rewarding and fulfilling for you at the end. But anyway, enough of what's going on with me this morning. Welcome to Politics in Plain English. We talk current political events and explain what's happening, why it's happening, and what it means. Okay. So we're going to dig right on in, and you know how we do some high level overview of a few things, and then we dig into some topics. Yes, the Epstein files are still here, it is still on the docket, but first things first is we have this. The acting attorney general, Todd Blanche, has signed an order to reclassify state licensed medical marijuana as a less dangerous drug. What does that mean? Pretty much, people, because of the class of marijuana, people are seeing jail time at the equivalent of people like assault, and it shouldn't really equate, or higher than like cocaine, right? And they don't have the same effects. So they're trying to reclassify this. And I think, and on a broader scale, what I think is going to happen is because they see the amount of money that they can make, which I think is horrible because we still have people in jail for marijuana, and yet these folks are out here making millions upon billions of dollars off of this drug now. And I think they should retroact. This, but yes, they're going to reclassify this. And let's remember that this initiative really began with Joe Biden. He was talking about reclassifying it, different things of that nature. But you got these fickle folk in there that don't want to see certain things happen, yada, 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 whatever. But he signed an order to get this done. So we will start to see this happen as well. Also, the Iran war can make everyday products more expensive. Okay, so brace yourself. When they say everyday products, they're talking about beauty products, they're talking about clothing items, they're talking about cleaning products. They're speaking of things that you don't think about, that your paper products, like if you eat off of paper plates, your paper towels, your toilet paper, cotton balls, your cleaning supplies, like your bleach, your detergent, your Dawn, like all of these things are going to see a price hike due to this choice war that we are in. And because the oil is what they're fighting over right now, and how the oil is going to get here. Also, what we are seeing is overseas in Europe, they are canceling flights because they don't have enough airplane fuel to last them. So we are starting to see flights canceled over in Europe, and we are going to see price hikes like no other. Delta CEO has already stated this summer it is going to be very expensive to travel because of their airplane fuel is so expensive and is not as available for them. They are going to increase the prices of none other than your ticket prices. So pretty much the best thing to do is right now get in front of it. I say if you've got a Sam's or Costco's card, go in it with a friend. Y'all go and buy in bulk and split it down the middle, you know what I'm saying, to split the cost so you have more. And just be careful, mindful of what you're spending. You're going to see energy prices rise if you haven't already. I know Duke Energy is requesting that they're able to do another hike, and they just did a price hike about a year ago. They're asking for another one. So anybody that has Duke Energy as their electricity provider, you are going to see another increase probably come through during the summertime when it is hot. So we have that going on. Also, we have, unfortunately, the Secretary of Navy, John Fellion, left yesterday. It was effective immediately, yes, in the middle of the war. A middle of this choice war, he left. It has been reported that Pete Hegseth told him to either resign or he was going to fire him because they felt like he was not moving at the speed that he should. Meaning he is more calculated and he understands what war is. He understands the fact that you just can't make rational decisions because you have people's actual lives in your hands, you know what I mean? And to make sure we're not committing war crimes. So he is out right now. He is out right now, and he's out, and I'm going to show you the guy that is in. You guys are going to be like, what the hell is going on, right? You guys, this administration ceases to know, like, I'm never shocked at what they do. They always put the most unqualified people in position. And so this is the person that is leading
mobilized Christians across the nation. I mean, there's a place in Monterey, California called Lovers Point.
Yeah.
The original name was Lovers of Christ Point, but now it's become, they took out the Christ, it's Lovers Point. And it's really, Monterey is a very dark place now.
Yeah.
A lot of witchcraft and the Wiccan community has really taken over there. And we can't let that happen in Virginia. Virginia is, I mean, especially down in Roanoke, they're God-loving people.
Right.
This is the Secretary of Navy. This is who is in charge of the Navy now. He is stating that cities are doing witchcraft in these areas and they can't let that happen in Roanoke, Virginia, you know, and places in California. These are the type of people that they're putting in charge of our security, of our military. This is who the people are making decisions. People who make no sense. People who don't know the first thing about anything. Okay.
Richmond too, and Virginia Beach. And we just need to mobilize Christians across the nation. I mean, there's a place.
Mobilize Christians across the nation, because these are folks that are Christian nationalists. Hey, Taylor, these are the folks that are Christian nationalists, and they are pushing. Christian nationalists are also racist. Okay, let me just put it to you plainly like that. And they are pushing their ideas and their sycophant ways onto our military. And we're in total danger zone, like complete, utter danger behind this. But again, this is who they voted for, right? Because, you know, the conversation keeps coming up. I didn't vote for this. I didn't vote for this. I didn't vote for this. Yes, you did. You voted for it. You voted for it, full stop. You know what else you voted for? You voted for them to put this crazy person in office. Because he is using the FBI, taxpaying dollars, to investigate a New York Times reporter because they published something about his girlfriend. You know, the one that he's been using the private jet to go and pick her up and take her places and giving her guard security to surround her, you know, to escort her to places. That one. Using taxpayer dollars. She is not a servant. She is not the head of an FBI. She's not in the cabinet. She's not anything but the girlfriend of this man. And he was so upset that they found out she was on these flights and that he also was using the private jet to go, because she sings, she's a country singer, using the private jet where he's supposed to be using that to go where problems are, because here's the other problem that delays the response time to where the FBI actually needs to be. So they're using a jet. He's been using the jet to also go see her and take her out on dates and go to her concerts. This is what your taxpaying dollar is paying for. Good morning, Tepe. Good morning, Penny Proud. This is, hey, Victimo. This is what your taxpaying dollars is going for. Meanwhile, commercial flights are going sky high through the roof. Your gas is not lowered. Your electricity bill, there are some places in Virginia itself, their electricity bill is just as much as their mortgage. Right, Truth and Reason. You got it. You got it. You got it. Yeah. Because he's on his way out too. And remember, I told y'all that Pam Bondi was on her way out, and what happened within about 48 hours, y'all saw that she was on her way out. Remember, I told y'all that Kristi Noem was on her way out, and 48 hours later, she ended up being fired, and they love to cover it up in a resign, but she was actually fired. This guy is also on his way out. He is on his way out very soon, because with that lawsuit that he has put up, even though the court has dismissed it, what else is going to happen now? Congress has now requested certain reports from him that is going to be the telltale of everything, right? And he's been caught lying, like, because one of the drunk days that he had, he got locked out of his system because he couldn't remember his password, right? They have the logs for that. Then he went and lied and said he's never been locked out of his system, but someone on record stated he thought he was fired, and, you know, all of his access to everything had been canceled. So, I mean, this whole administration is just full of liars, you know what I mean? But the fact that they're using taxpayer dollars because someone did a report on his girlfriend to then investigate the New York Times reporter. It's also been reported that they went to her home. They went to this reporter's home, and yeah, just things that are beyond the pale, right? That are just completely beyond the pale. And okay, we've talked about that. Also, this person is out. We're talking about people that are out of here. This person is out, right? Labor Secretary resigns after abuse of power allegations. Let me make this a little bit bigger for you guys. So the Labor Secretary, Lori Chavez DeRaymer, is out on the Trump's cabinet. The White House said Monday, after multiple allegations of abuse of her position power, including in having an affair with a subordinate and drinking alcohol on the job. Why do all these folks have a drinking problem? They have a drinking problem and they have a touching problem. Do you see the going theme here? They have drinking problems and touching problems. They don't know how to keep their hands to themselves, and they're always drunk. So the question is, who is really in charge here? Because we don't know. We have no idea. And they're stating that there's like text messages that are coming out where she told the person that she was in town, but don't let anybody know and don't let those messages get out. Right? That she was using taxpayer dollars to fund her rendezvous with people and excessive partying in their offices and things. This is a no-go. This violates ethics. It violates so many things. And when you're in this position of power, you're supposed to have a higher standard set for yourself. You're supposed to abide by a higher standard because, again, this also goes into our national security. These folks can't keep us safe because they can't even stay sober. It's utterly disgusting. Like, it's absolutely disgusting. Like, it just is. And it's so bad that we're not even taken serious anywhere. We're not taken serious anywhere. And that is why, like, Iran is doing what they're doing. Iran, again, run up and get done up and see what is going on. You know what I'm saying? Iran is like, we're not the one, we're not the two. And we're going to show you how much we don't care. Like, we're going to show you we're about that life. And we're going to, as the song says, take me through there. They're going to take you through there. Exhibit A of what taking you through there looks like.
The president has not set a firm deadline to receive an Iranian proposal, unlike some of the reporting I've seen today. Ultimately, the timeline...
Mind you, this is supposed to be in the middle of a ceasefire. And Lion, Caroline Levitt.
Timeline will be dictated by the commander-in-chief and the president of the United States.
And that is Iran in action. That is Iran showing you what they're capable of. You see how easy they surrounded that ship and took it over? This is why bombing Iran and choosing to go to war with them was never a good idea, right? It was never a good idea. It just wasn't something that was very smart and was not well thought out either, right? It just was not well thought out to begin with. And like, yeah, like it just wasn't well thought out. And we're in that stage where we have no plan, we have no way to get out. And And Iran is trolling us at its best. They are trolling us at another level.
We are having very great negotiations with Iran. If Iran doesn't come to negotiate, we're going to bomb them.
2,000 years later.
So where are the Iranians?
This is from Iran.
All right. Then I will extend the ceasefire at Pakistan's request.
Iran is trolling at its finest right now. Iran is trolling this man so well that he's losing his mind. Iran, and dare I say this, I'm not even mad at Iran's trolling. I'm just not mad at it. Like, I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it because yes, does Iran have terrorists there? Yes, they do. We also have domestic terrorists here on our own soil, you know, the KKK, the Proud Boys. I don't like that, right? But we had no business bombing innocent children. We had no business choosing to go to war when there was nothing to go to war about outside of Bibi Netanyahu, right? Like, outside of that. While they're trolling him, right? He's sending these tweets at 8:45 a.m. I have ordered the United States to shoot and kill any boat, small boats though they may be. Their naval ships are all 159 of them at the bottom of the sea. So he wants them to shoot all their ships, but then he's claiming that their Navy ships are already at the bottom of the sea. Y'all see how this is like an oxymoron, right? It doesn't even sound right. Then he says that is putting mines in the water of the Strait of Hormuz. What is putting mines? You don't own the Navy. You don't own the military. Then he says there is to be no hesitation. Additionally, our mine sweepers are clearing the strait right now. We know that that's not true because Iran closed the Strait of Hormuz. So there's no way that US boats and vessels are going through and sweeping anything. Do y'all understand how this is not even the math isn't mathing with this stuff, right? The math is just not mathing. And he goes, I am hereby ordering that activity to continue, but at a tripled up level. Thank you for attention to this matter. What? No, seriously. Like, what are we talking about? Iran has already taken 3 ships over in the last 24 hours. Okay. They're not playing with nobody. Also, Tehran has just received money from ships that were allowed to come in because they paid the toll. Okay. They're also talking about shutting down the Red Sea as well. This is why you have to have a plan. They have no plan. And unfortunately, they don't even have an exit plan for the military ships that are there. And this is why it's important to not have these type of people in charge. Okay. It is so important that these folks are not in charge, but he hires all the best people, you know, like this guy who drinks all the time, you know what I'm saying? And then he hired this woman who drinks and can't keep her hands to herself. Then we know we have, hey, Outspoken, we know we have Pete Hegseth who drinks all the time and can't keep his hands to himself. Because remember, his ex-wife, he had to pay hush money because he beat her ass. These people are crazy. Y'all can't tell me, but they're one of the ones that are Bible toting, Christian thumping folks, but they're drinking during the day on the job. They don't know how to keep their hands to themselves, whether it's sexually or physically, but they want to tell us about God. And they hire all the best people. They hire all the best people. This is what they claim, right? They hire all the best people. Meanwhile, while all this shit is going on, right? While all of this, good morning, Miss Vegas. While all of this shit is going on, remember he used to call Sleepy Joe, right? Remember that? Y'all, take a look.
Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream.
Y'all, this guy. Yeah, that guy. Good morning, Phoebe. That guy used to be like Sleepy Joe, but he's clearly knocked out. Baby, he's sleeping harder than a toddler who just was outside playing for 2 hours in the sun. He is knocked out. He is knocked out colder than somebody that had a full a steak dinner with mashed potatoes with gravy and a side of broccoli and a drink or two. This man sleep, but he had the nerve to call Sleepy Joe. Chill. He don't take his ass somewhere. I know something. Okay, I know something. And meanwhile, MAGA knocked out cold. MAGA, and this is the section of the show where we talk about, where they are fucking around and finding out. Right? They're fucking around and finding out. And now, what did I tell you yesterday? They're in search for a new home. Right? They are in search for a new home. So now we have Joe Rogan that's back out there. Okay. Joe Rogan is back out there. And he's absolutely going apeshit about the fact that Trump is not well. Trump is not this. This is, and y'all know the problem I have with this, right? This man been not well, right? But listen, just listen to himself. Listen.
These crazy right-wing radical Christian nationalists that think that we're supposed to be over in Israel so that Jesus can come back on a white horse. Have you seen that? One of these fucking guys, one of these high-level commanders says, don't be worried because Trump is anointed by Jesus Christ to bring back the return.
Oh, no. See, that's like up there with Allah will protect me.
Exactly.
It's the same shit.
It's the same shit. It's just coming from a different religion.
Yeah,
but it's the same mindset. He urges us to tell our troops this is all part of God's divine plan, specifically referenced numerous citations out of the book of Revelations referring to Armageddon and the imminent return of Jesus Christ.
Ay, ay, ay.
And he said, the superior had a big grin on his face when he said all of this, which made his message seem even more crazy.
Wow. Scary
That's
shit.
just as scary. Those are just as scary as suicide bombers or...
Yeah.
He says that MAGA is a cult. And see, my question to Joe Rogan is, was MAGA, good morning, thank you so much. Was MAGA a cult before he got elected? Was MAGA a cult during January 6th? During the insurrection? Was MAGA a cult when they were running around with flags draping from their trucks and they're spewing hate at people and buying these hats and having these obnoxious style rallies where they were fighting people at the rallies and telling the police like, oh, rough them up? Was MAGA a cult then? Was MAGA a cult when Trump was friends with Epstein and actively partying with him? Was MAGA a cult when the Grand Wizard, when folks in the MAGA party said that, was MAGA a cult when pretty much Trump would not say that the Grand Wizard was the KKK? Was there a cult then? So I'm just trying to figure out, like, where did the light bulb go off at? Because they've had cult-like behavior for a really long time. Because it's like, if you want to support him, go ahead. But like, let's put it in context here, right? Good morning, grown folks. Let's put it in context real quick. There were tons of us that supported Barack Obama, right? I was one of them. I actually worked on the campaign, right? There was no insurrection. There was no barbaric rallies where people were fighting because you may have had a different belief or stance on something or look different than somebody. We weren't driving around in big trucks with face masks and big, huge flags hanging from our trucks, screaming, we're going to take America back and go back where you came from, right? We just galvanized and believed in something and actually went and voted. Yet, MAGA could not even follow the Constitution. They didn't even honor the Constitution because they were even going to try to attempt to assassinate the vice president, because the vice president is who, at the end of the day, certifies the election. And if you remember the story, Mike Pence told it when he testified. Remember, he said that his motorcade was there and his chief of staff told him not to get in that motorcade for some reason. I think they had an inside tip, right? Because they were going to kill him. They were going to assassinate him. And he was already getting death threats. And there were more things that were said to Mike Pence that he has yet to come out and say. But he knew that his life was in danger. So he took his own motorcade, not the one that Trump and them sent for him. Okay. We have not seen in other administrations, people have given pardons. But the level of pardons that he has given to people who have been proven of heinous crimes, pardons are you know, supposed to be looked at ethically and things like that. But people of heinous crimes, he's giving pardons to because they're going to help him make more money. It's all about money, or they've donated a certain amount of money to one of his super PACs, right? So cult-like behavior. When did you guys decide that MAGA was a cult? Like, I just really want to understand, when did this revelation come? When did the revelation come, right? Because now we have all of these, we have like all of these avid starch conservatives now blowing the whistle, blowing their top. He's got to be stopped. He's got to be this. He's got to be that. But when this Trump is who he's always been, right? So because he's always been who he has been, what's so alarming now? Because your gas is high? Oh, because he's depicting himself as the Pope and now he's picking an argument with the Pope? Is that what it is? Or is it because your healthcare went up? Like, I just want to know what was really the defining factor, because it can't be, I just can't imagine looking at somebody who's been this way for all of his political career and now it's gone too far. Like, please, we don't care, right? So like Essie Cup, she's a stark Republican, but she goes nuclear. Or Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's actually one of the Republicans that never was for Trump. And I could not agree with her more in this. Like, I can't agree with everything that she has to say. And I want you to listen to this. It's about 11 minutes. But just listen to this because she's absolutely right.
But never Trumper, SE Cup, go absolutely scorched earth on Marjorie Taylor Greene, as well as Tucker Carlson. All of these people who were staunch supporters of Donald Trump, but now all of a sudden they've decided that they're no longer in the Trump camp. This took place on CNN's Table for Five. I'll leave the link in the description to the full show so you can check that out. Let's get into it and I'll give you guys my thoughts at the end.
Well, welcome back. It's no secret many in MAGA aren't too thrilled with Donald Trump for some portions of the things he's been doing now, from the Epstein files to the economy and now the war. They say he promised to never start. Many of the loudest people who helped get him elected are starting to say they have buyer's remorse. Our friend SE had this to say to many of them after the president's threat to wipe out a civilization.
Hello, my name is Adam Ferrari, the Chief Executive Officer of Phoenix Energy. I look forward to you
and your buyer's remorse. Who would listen to you now? Who would listen to you? You got us here. You voted for him. You told everyone they have to vote for him, right? It's going to be World War III if you don't vote for him. Give me a break. No one cares what you have to say anymore. We told you so.
We told you so. They are looking for a new home. They want to rebrand. They're saying, oh my gosh, we can't deal with this anymore because even their bills are going up, right? Okay.
But some, particularly on the Democratic side of the aisle, are opening their arms.
The thing that has been...
Remember yesterday, for the ones that were here yesterday, and I was talking about this one right here, I don't trust her. The reason why I don't trust her is because she has a voice that she should have used and could have used to help Kamala Harris. But because Kamala Harris allowed Liz Cheney to stump for her, and if you don't know who Liz Cheney is, she is the daughter of Dick Cheney, but Liz Cheney also led the charge to impeach Trump. She also led the charge to investigate the insurrection. Okay, she was one of the ones that was the loudest voices on the GOP and said, this man cannot be in office. And me and Liz Cheney have some differing views on some things. Lord knows we do. But when you're right, you're right. And she was absolutely correct because she was saying the same thing that every rational person was saying. He's going to send us to war. He is an emotional, petulant child. He is not educated. He is not to be trusted. He is a grifter. He is a liar. He is a cheater. But this one right here wants us to open our arms to Marjorie Taylor Greene. No. There are no more cookout invites because this one's invite is hanging on by a women of prayer. Because she was the very one that could have campaigned for Kamala Harris, but instead she attacked her behind allowing Liz Cheney do one campaign stop. One. Because here's the thing. Had we opened up our arms for more of those people that were anti-Trump in the last election, we probably would be a different place, even though I have my other theories as well. But instead, she was hard like, no. But remember, this is Marjorie Taylor Greene who said that they were eating dogs and that she married her brother. But
very fascinating, especially about Marjorie and Candace, is that they are not just coming out like the other ones that you'd mentioned, where they're saying this action is wrong, right? They're saying, I am done with you.
Yeah, it's like a values based, like
right.
This guy is bad,
yeah.
Not like this policy is bad.
Right. And I think that we should give them credit for that.
The message cannot be, I told you so. The message has to be, welcome aboard. What else can we do together?
Essie, you are by no means a MAGA defector. You were never in
Early
that
and often. Early and often to never Trump.
early and often. You screamed no. No to what?
I have been out in these streets too long, Sarah.
In these streets.
I have been out in these streets since 2015, opposing this un-American, anti-democratic, fascistic garbage. And while at the same time, these people that they're mentioning, the Marjorie Taylor Greens, that name them, the long list, have been defending it for fun, for money, for clicks, for fame. There is not all converts are created equal. And we should not, it's not just for Democrats to decide, it's for never Trumpers who are conservative as well to decide. We should not be aligning with people who are losers, liars, and grifters, who have only come to see the light because either it's politically expedient or it's profitable or whatever. Now, I say to voters who have lost their appetite for Trump, absolutely. Congratulations. I'm sorry he disappointed you. I know exactly how he did by promising you things he's completely ignored. I get you. Come on over. The water's warm. But for the professional liars, losers, and grifters, no, we don't want you.
No, we don't want you. Because they lied to help perpetrate and push the propaganda. They push Project 2025. You understand what she's saying? She's saying, why are we allowing these folks to come through here, right? This is SE Coop. SE Cup, sorry, S.E. Cup, C-U-P-P. Why are we allowing these folks who have not even voted, because let's also talk about their voting record too, who have not even voted anything to even help the marginalized, but they want us to welcome them with open arms? No. No. We don't forget, because Marjorie, you voted with Donald Trump 99% of the time. Okay. Candace Owens, you sat there and you wore a t-shirt that said White Lives Matter. Okay. Megyn Kelly, you sit there and you talked about First Lady Michelle Obama's arms and tried to disintegrate the fact that she was an educated woman from Harvard. You guys were talking about birtherism. So you don't get a pass because, oh, we figured it out. No. You don't get a pass. There is no, you do not get a pass because the writing was on the wall and you helped push that writing that was on the wall. You lied to the people. You lied to your constituents. But what do I keep saying to you guys? Racism isn't cheap. Racism is expensive. And it is hitting their pockets. Hey, Mom Ties, it is hitting their pockets left and right. And that is the only reason why they're searching high and low for a place. But let's continue to listen to SE Coop because she's making all the sense in the world. All the sense in the world.
And just because you've come to where we have been for 10 years doesn't mean you get to use us to launder your reputations. Not happening on my watch. And I don't like this conversation where it's like, well, shouldn't we give them credit? No credit. It's at the 11th hour. It's the 11th hour of this. He is a lame duck. He is gone in 2 years.
Guys.
What took you so long? I'm sorry. Somebody stop me or I will.
What took you so long? There is the question right there. What took you so long? What took them so long is because their pockets were being aligned. What took them so long is because they've been in positions of power. What took them so long is that they were able to feed into tradings in the stock market to make money. That's what took them so long. What took them so long is because they were looking through racist lens. That's what took them so long. Okay. And now that they're no longer able to make as much money as they once did, now that their children can't live peacefully, now that they can't go to the grocery store and actually, get a basket full of groceries for $100 like we used to be able to, now it's a problem. Now it's a problem that he is actually challenging your Christian values and your Christian views. But you were saying, these are the same folks that were lining up talking about Donald Trump is a Christian. He's going to put Christian values in place. Remember, one half of Mary kept saying she was going to vote for Donald Trump because he's going to bring Christian values back in the White House. Now she's going through a nasty ass divorce with a cheating ass husband. But isn't that the GOP way? They always have some extracurricular activities, whether it is cheating on your spouse, cosplaying behind closed doors, having a boyfriend, sexual assault records, being drunk and belligerent. This is the playbook for them. There is no room at the end. We're not buying. We ain't, what we say, y'all? We ain't going. You're not going to use that. It's not going to work on us. We don't feel sorry for you because we try to tell you. We tried to tell you, but because it did not fit your white nationalist agenda, right? Because it didn't fit your white nationalist agenda and it's no longer really benefiting you anymore, and you're noticing that this is a lame duck president, and that everybody around him is about to be on trial. And even though Donald Trump has said he's going to do sweeping pardons for everybody, it still does not pardon you from state charges. And best believe, New York, California, Illinois, Virginia are lining those charges up as we speak. Okay. On how they handle things. And let me make it very clear. Pam Bondi is probably going to lose her law license because they're going to complain to the Bar Association in the state of Florida. All of these things are coming. But this is who y'all wanted in office. This is who y'all were cultish behind. Remember Marjorie Taylor Greene at his rallies. And Marjorie Taylor Greene, you want us to invite you back in, but have you apologized to Jasmine Crockett? And when I say apologize, I'm talking about a real full-fledged apology. Candace Owens, have you really apologized to the people that actually look like you? You know, the people have to use the same brush that you have to use to comb your hair. And maybe you should really find out the brushes that we are using to make your head look a little better. Yeah. Because now, Candace Owens, what you're seeing is that they only accepted you while you were doing their bidding for them. You were doing master's bidding for them, right? Okay. See, what you're seeing is that they only accepted you while you were doing master's bidding for them. But you now have fucked around and found out you're still a Black girl in their eyes. You're still a Black woman in their eyes, trying to be accepted. You were a token for a little while, as long as that token was able to keep their game going. But now that they no longer can use you, they're now going to abuse you, sweetie. Okay? She needs edge control and a bristle brush. That's what Candace Owens needs. And stop trying to, y'all know where I'm going with it. Okay? But this is what happens with grifters of politics. Let's continue.
How do you really feel?
Yeah, exactly.
This is personal. I've gotten death threats. I have lived this life at the expense of profession, at the expense of friendships, at the expense of money. I've done it. It's been hard, but it's my conscience telling me to do it. You don't get to flip a switch and say, I don't like him anymore. Can I be with you guys? No.
No.
Do you see who she's talking about?
Can you be with you guys? The answer is no. The answer is no. You cannot come be with us. Go figure it out. And meanwhile, while they're going to go figure it out, listen, this is what I'm talking about when trying to rebrand themselves to be something other than what they've shown.
And getting in.
Listen,
there are aspects of his personality which are
She's
obviously not good.
She's talking about Donald Trump here, guys. Listen at this. This is the one that was on Fox News going crazy about him. You've got to get him in office. He is far better than Kamala Harris. Putting out the propaganda that Kamala Harris arrested all of these Black men, right? They did. But when you really dig to the numbers, it wasn't that many. And that she actually helped reintroduce more Black men into society from prison than she did incarcerate them. And she didn't incarcerate them. She was the Attorney General, the top cop of California. The DAs are the ones that try these cases. The DAs in the counties and the cities are the one that tries these cases. And see, the people that don't even know the three branches of government and how they work and how your government works in your state are so quick to say, oh, she put all Black. No. That's not how this works. She doesn't go arrest anybody. See, what happens is a case is built upon people. Cops lock them up. The DA decides whether they're going to pick it up or not, and they try it, press charges, and try it in front of a judge. And if they decide to go to trial, they have to stand in front of a 12. 12 is the jury. Or if not, they take a plea deal. So please, with the Reddit, but this was the one that was telling some of y'all, and it's some of y'all that's probably in the clouds that I know of for a fact that was repeating that propaganda, and I'm very disappointed in that. But anyway, I digress.
And that we've mostly just chosen to overlook. You know, he's not a moral man. He's obviously not the greatest husband in the world. And he's extremely petty and thin-skinned, extremely petty and thin-skinned. And what we're seeing right now is he's turning on his most loyal supporters because they don't support this war and getting in bed with people who fucking hate him and have hated him from the beginning and were the original Never Trumpers, as though that's what MAGA is. That's what his core support should look like. Meanwhile, there are many who are over here who have loved Trump for many, many years. We've had our skirmishes in the past. Tucker's had skirmishes with him. I have too, but who fought harder than a lot of others during the lawfare against him to make sure people knew that it was bullshit, stood up for him during the actual electoral contest to make sure people understood what was at stake and why he had to be the choice, who he just, there's no loyalty in return ever from Trump, ever. If you have a principled disagreement with something he does, you're otherized. You're the enemy.
These people, now she hates Trump. Now she's saying he's a bad husband. Now she's saying he's thin-skinned. But meanwhile, they were saying that females are too emotional to have nuclear codes. The math ain't mathing, folks. It's not mathing. Like, it's just not mathing. And then we have, on top of that, the girls are fighting. And when I say the girls, I'm talking about the MAGA loving girls. And Laura Loomer, this is where I'm telling y'all,
she said that all Zionists need to be eradicated.
That Candace Owens is finding out that she was just a Black girl to them, right? That she's still a Black girl to them, right? Candace Owens is now seeing firsthand that this is why you don't go against your skin folk to oppress them. This is why you don't do this, especially aligning yourself with racist people, right? This is what happens. But listen to this crazy woman, Laura Lunatic Loomer, okay? Just watch.
From the planet because they're demonic pedophiles. That's what Candace Owens said. So why is she asking you for money for her legal team of Jews, Zionist Jews, so that she can then further enrich Zionist Jews who she claims are a bunch of pedophiles and we're trying to control the world and we're a bunch of murderers and we all sit around and we rub our palms together about how we're going to control the world and we're like, yes, more shekels, more shekels, more shekels, more shekels from Candace Owens, right? Like, she's crazy and she's a liar and she's a hypocrite and her followers need to understand.
She said Candace Owens is crazy a follower, and a hypocrite. That sounds classic MAGA. And we know this woman right here, got caught in the movie theater. Y'all know that story. But she's also crazy, a liar, and a follower. But I digress.
It's like those televangelists, right? Where you watch these people on TV from like in the 80s when they're like, I don't care if you're dying from cancer. I don't care if you need chemotherapy. I don't care if you are starving. I don't care if you are on your last dollar and you need to find a way to put gas in your car. I don't care. God will provide. God will provide. Can I get a hallelujah, amen? And everyone's like, hallelujah, amen, right? Give me your money. And then you have these like televangelist preachers that are literally like driving around in Escalades and wearing all this stuff and, talking about how they need to take care of the poor. Meanwhile, they're driving around with all these like riches and luxury. That's how Candace Owens is, where it's like, the Zionists are so evil. The Zionists are going to kill me. Give me your money. Donate to my security fund. Help me, help me, help me. The Zionists are going to kill me. Bibi Netanyahu's going to put a laser on my head and Mossad's going to come in my house at night. And they're a bunch of pedophiles. That's why I invited a man who's been accused of pedophilia to come inside my home. A man who said that he had sex with my husband. She's literally like one of the.
But isn't this what they do? Isn't this what they do? Because we're talking about Laura Loomer, who is a proud Islamophobe, right? She wants to talk about liars. She's even saying that these school shootings were staged. But we've seen the parents crying and actually burying their children, right? She's also the one that interrupted the Julius Caesar play in 2017 in Broadway. So this is also the one. Yeah.
These grifter televangelists from the 80s that's like, it doesn't matter if you're dying from cancer and you are on your last dime and you don't have any money for your chemotherapy treatments. God will provide. God will provide. So can you give me all your money? Can you put all your money in the basket? Can you tithe for the church today? It's very hokey. I mean, it's very, very hokey, right? And I'm not like mocking people's faith here, but there is something very humorous about like these televangelists that go around, and everybody knows what I'm talking about, right? These grifter televangelists who are like, give me all your money. It doesn't matter if your home is going into foreclosure. Give us everything that you have. It's your duty to God. It's your duty to God to put everything that you have in the basket. If you're dying and you don't have money for medical.
But it didn't MAGA say it was your duty? Didn't Trump just tweet that it was his duty from God? It was his God's purpose. She's talking about herself and everything that she stands for. Like, yeah, Tweety, it was something, I think it was her. But she got arrested a couple of times for disrupting stuff everywhere. I think it's either her or Bobart. It might have been Bobart that did it. But they look the same, so it is what it is. But you see how she's talking about Candace? Candace, they look at you like a black girl, right? But didn't Paula White just lay hands and say that Donald Trump was Jesus, and they sent out a campaign ad to raise money stating that this is what God wants? So she's talking about herself. Okay. She's absolutely talking about herself. And Candace Owens is not a dumb girl, right? But I don't know what happened to her. Because Laura Loomer even told her in a tweet that she's mad that Charlie Kirk chose Erica Kirk and not her. These people have lost their fucking minds. These are the folks that helped usher Donald Trump in. And this is why I keep saying, y'all not coming, y'all not welcome over here. Y'all are not welcome over here. You know why you're not welcome over here? You know something, another reason why you're not welcome over here? The Republican chair of the Oversight Committee states that they are considering pardoning Ghislaine Maxwell. I want you to let that sink in. Again, this is the Bible-toting, Christian-quoting party who are now stating they are considering pardoning Ghislaine Maxwell, who was Epstein's right hand. And the chairman, James Comer, said a lot of people do it. Sick. A lot of people do it. This is what they're saying. A lot of people do what? Invite teenagers into their beds? Sex traffic teenagers? Is this what we're talking about? Is this what we're talking about? Like, I don't know people who do that. I don't know we know a lot of sick old white men do it, rich white men do it. If that's a lot of people that we're talking about, because yes, that has been seen to be true. And the FBI is claiming that they're no longer going to even investigate any further on the Epstein files or release any more pages. Pam Bondi has defied her subpoena and stated she's not going to come and testify. So now they're going to hold her in contempt, meaning they're going to go knock on her door and put her in handcuffs. Okay. Meanwhile, we've got some great journalism investigation going on. And just sit back and watch.
They're the faceless figures in Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking ring. Women and girls whose stories fill the Department of Justice files. Some explaining they were raped, others lent out to Epstein's friends, and another given sexual instructions for other men and trafficked. Epstein went to jail for sex trafficking. So did accomplice Ghislaine Maxwell. But the Trump administration says evidence doesn't show other men participated in the abuse. From the FBI.
There is no credible information. None. If there were, I would bring the case yesterday that he trafficked to other individuals.
To the DOJ.
Anybody with evidence, come to the FBI and tell us.
Victims did tell the FBI, but the files show little sign of any follow-up by investigators. A CNN review of the DOJ's own publicly released Epstein files finds more than a dozen times where victims told the FBI that Epstein facilitated sexual encounters with his rich and powerful network. But here's what we can't find in the public files. Much evidence of further investigation after those women spoke to the FBI.
What does justice at the end of the day look like for you?
Before we can even get to, to prosecution, we need investigation, right? And so unfortunately what we're seeing right now is that there's been so little investigation.
Annie Farmer is an Epstein survivor. She says she was sexually abused by Epstein and his partner Ghislaine Maxwell when she was just 16. She's joined House Oversight Committee ranking member Robert Garcia in a public push for more accountability.
This is about some of the most powerful, wealthiest people believing that they can just get away with anything. And they empowered Jeffrey Epstein to be that person.
The files reveal how Epstein built a trafficking ring. The victims were teenagers or young women who needed money and influence to start their lives. Epstein paid for gifts and exotic trips to his Caribbean island for parties. Victims told the FBI at first he seemed harmless. One victim told the Palm Beach Police Department 2 decades ago how Epstein would groom his victims.
The girl that meets Jeffrey starts off with giving him a massage.
Now, remember, for those that have been watching with me for a while now, remember I broke it down and said they were paying for these girls to get their massage therapy license or having them do, you know, all of these type of things. And everywhere they would go, it was always set up like a massage parlor, massage table, all of these things, as well as having dentists set up like a dental office, because they were pulling the teeth out of girls so they could not bite them. The ones that they were pretty much holding captive on some of these places, these homes, and that they were trafficking to other men. And this is how they got them. And let's not forget that some of these girls also worked at Mar-a-Lago as Misuse. And one of the reasons why Trump was upset with Jeffrey Epstein, because he kept screaming that Epstein took his girls as if they were like in his possession. Epstein took his girls. Not only that's not the only altercation they had, because it was an altercation over a property that Trump undercut Epstein, which made Epstein very furious and made him pretty much wanted to hem him up, which is why I think the email trail was there while he was talking to people about Trump and Tramp Melania Tramp. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The more you do with him, the more you make.
In this 2021 report, a victim told the FBI she believed they trafficked me. She says Epstein sent her to Dr. Henry Jarecki, a renowned psychiatrist who could help her with college. This is Jarecki, pictured here with Epstein in the files. Because she really wanted to attend college, she says she gave Jarecki oral sex. There's no sign of an FBI investigation with Jarecki. He says he's never abused anyone. A wealthy banker named in an FBI report is Jess Staley.
I have had a long-standing professional relationship with Jeffrey Epstein.
A woman told the FBI that she met Staley at Epstein's New York mansion. The woman says Epstein was paying for her to attend massage school and told her to give Staley a massage. Photos show Epstein owned an elaborate massage room. The massage ended in rough sex. She told Staley she did not want this. Federal investigators spoke to local cops about accusations against Staley, but the files don't show much follow-up.
And remember, it's alleged that there are bodies buried in New Mexico at that ranch, Epstein Ranch, because they're stating that women were unalive due to violent sex. Also, there's been OBGYNs that were on the payroll as well, because girls, they were not women, they were girls at the time, were needing to be sewn and stitched in their lower region due to the level of violent intercourse that was going on. And I do believe some of those girls were probably impregnated as well, were the babies, you know what I'm saying? Because Jeffrey Epstein was obsessed with his gene pool. He wanted to recreate his gene pool at mass. I digress.
Staley said in court he did have sex with one of Epstein's assistants, but it was consensual.
I love doing business. My whole life I've enjoyed doing business.
Leon Black is a Wall Street titan. A woman said Epstein told her to massage Black, who started becoming sexual. She then ran out of the room. Another woman said Black raped her. Files show the DOJ spoke about Black with the Manhattan DA's office, which began looking into him, but he has not been charged for anything. An attorney for Black said he has never abused, assaulted, or raped any girl or woman, and the idea of doing so is repulsive and reprehensible to him.
And let's not forget that Epstein also had an account. He had an account which his lawyers would pay off victims. Leon Black has been spending tens of millions of dollars to keep things buried. Okay, and I talked about this the other day. I gave y'all a web of people that are spending enormous amounts of money to keep things buried. He's a friend of Trump and Epstein.
It's just an absolute travesty the way that the entire thing is played out.
Attorney Spencer Kuvin has represented multiple Epstein victims. One of his clients says Epstein and Maxwell loaned her to a corporate executive in Palm Beach, Florida.
Girls were not people to him. They were objects to be traded. So he would utilize both underage victims, but he would also utilize other women who were over the age of 18 to satisfy men that he wanted to curry favor with.
You're almost talking about an economic ecosystem based on the abuse of women.
And if you remember, I said that the more this investigation goes on, what is going to happen is there's other agencies that are involved, because we're talking about underage girls, right? How were they able to get bank accounts? How were they able to get passports without their parents? How were they able to get IDs and things of that nature and fly in and out of country pretty much underneath the radar the way that they were? Well, it's because not only were banks in on this and people that work at the banks, but we have people that were working in high level securities as well. We're talking about Homeland Security. We're talking about FBI. We're talking about CIA. We're talking about international figures, right? International. Look at Prince Andrew. Well, he's no longer a prince, but Prince Andrews. He's not the only one. It is going to uncover a massive, massive ring of older, white, wealthy men going after underage girls and pretty much grooming them, assaulting them while promising them the world and robbing them of their childhood. This is what is happening, and it's sick to no end. And when these girls become 17 and 18 years old, they're discarding them because they're no longer interested, because they're interested in 12 and 13-year-olds. Allow that to sink in. A 60 and 70-year-old man is attractive to a 12, 13, 14-year-old girl. And these men are married with kids, might I add. Some of them went to the island with their children. Like, why would, but I digress. I digress with that. But this is what we're dealing with. And the more that they uncover, the worse that it is going to get. And this is another reason why Pam Bondi is going down, because Pam Bondi was the Attorney General down there in Palm Beach. Mm-hmm. So her hands are, are dirty. Erica Kirk, who was in the pageants, who ended up working for the pageants, she's in there too. Ivana Trump hung out with Ghislaine Maxwell on a regular basis. Melania Trump hung out with Ghislaine Maxwell. Her and her friend, her friend Amanda, that is now blowing the whistle on any and everything. The one that he had, they detained her and deported her and stripped her away from her child. Yeah. Her. This thing gets deeper and deeper and deeper, darker and darker and darker, and sicker and sicker and sicker.
It was.
Moses Castillo is a former LAPD sex crimes detective. He says he'd expect to see more basic investigation and follow-up in the files.
It's actually policing 101, police investigations 101. You check the flight, you check all the hotels, you check this victim said this and that. Can you go out there and corroborate that? So it's time consuming, but it's not impossible.
Kyung, I mean, it's incredible to just see all of that as you show it in black and white. And I know there are many other names, right, that have similar allegations. Has the Trump administration's position changed at all on any of this? You know, when you think about this reporting that you're putting out there in black and white?
Well, we did follow up with the Department of Justice asking them that very same question. And they sent us this statement in regards to allegations specifically about other men. The statement says, quote, "The allegations contained in them were thoroughly investigated," referring to the Epstein files. "Prosecutors at the time did not feel that the evidence was sufficient to prosecute." We then turn to some of the men who you just heard about in the report, Aaron. A spokesperson for Jarecki says that he has advanced dementia and is non-communicative, and that a non-response does not suggest tacit approval. We did not hear back from representatives from Maxwell or Jess Staley. Aaron?
Go figure. Now he can't remember things. Oh, please. Find someone who's going to listen to that. Go figure. But this case is still alive and well, and people are not forgetting about it because more survivors are speaking out. You know, Representative Massey is not going to let it go. Representative Rokon is not going to let it go. People are not going to let this go because this also was a campaign promise. Because remember, Kash Patel and Pam Bondi Pants said, "Oh, we have the files on our desk and we'll release them day one." Then Pam Bondi said, "Well, if we release the files, it'll be a total governmental collapse." Collapse the shit. Collapse it. If that's what needs to happen, collapse it. But people need to be held responsible. But you see, these are the same people, right? These are the same people who are anti-gay, anti-Black, anti-women, and love to tell us what to do, right? They love to tell us what to do, but then we find out they always have some type of sexual things in their closet. They always have some type of sexual skeletons in their closet, right? And I just want you guys to look at this really quick. I think it's quite hilarious, if I might add. You know what I'm saying? This tea is piping hot, okay?
His setting power.
Let's get into it. Hold on. Let's get into this, okay?
Jennings, right? You know that white supremacist that always be on Abby Phillips? Well, honey, I got some tea for you. So word on the curb, and according to Red Hot Nerd, Scott Jennings like dingling. He said he remembers him from Broadway from back in the...
Did y'all hear that? Do y'all know? So if you watch CNN, you always hear Scott Jennings that is always pushing the propaganda, the narratives, the lies that Trump spews out. He's always, you know, he lies to himself on a daily basis. So Scott Jennings, we've got Chef Joe Guerra, who has came out and said, "Hi, Scott, you may not remember me from my Broadway performing days in NYC, but you're being a complete lying asshole." So here it is, Scott Jennings swings both ways. Not that I care, who gives a shit, but he's lied about this since 2009. And there are at least 100 photos of him at Fire Island bars from back in the day. And anybody that lives in New York or has been to New York or heavily, you know, traveled to New York and hangs in there, we know what Fire Island is. You know, it has the rainbow flag and it has the voguing going on, shall I say. It has, you know, our trans community heavily there, you know, clock it. But let's carry on.
Day, when his ass was swinging both ways. He claims there's at least 100 photos of him in Fire Island, apparently with some fags. You know that song, 99 Bottles of Beer on the Wall? Maybe it's 99 Bottoms.
This one has a little sweetness to it.
Look, I ain't accusing you of shit because I ain't no dumb bitch. I ain't trying to get sued. But however, what this man is saying kind of makes sense. I don't know if y'all remember, during the RNC in Milwaukee, Grindr shut down.
Remember, Grindr shut down during the RNC. And also remember that the Correspondents' Dinner that is going on this weekend, the White House Correspondents' Dinner. What is the Correspondents' Dinner? Where journalists are gathered together to celebrate journalism, the freedom of press, which nobody should really show up, right? Because freedom of press is not really free right now. But guess who is hosting it? Grindr.
I don't know if it was too many people using the server, too many people sucking dick.
Don't you suck dick, don't you, girl? Bitch, yes you do.
But if you remember, who was doing punditry in Milwaukee for the RNC? This cracker putting on his setting powder. Maybe he's born with it, or maybe he's bottoming. Scott Jennings, I'm gonna need your ass to come to the front of the class, okay? You need to tell us, the T, are you LGBT? So y'all know that song.
Tell us the T. Are you LGBT? Ooh, are you LGBT? Okay, baby, are you LGBT? And if y'all go over there to good old Twitter, you can see more of his messages scrolling. Hey, room shaker, scrolling about this very thing. But they're always the ones that are always coming after gay people and who's in their bedroom and all of these outlandish things. You know what I'm saying? I always say the ones that are always the loudest are always the wrong, are always doing something in the wrong. You know, like Kristi Noem's husband is cosplaying with prosthetic boobs with a porn star online, having virtual dates, talking about they're now going to go outside. Meanwhile, while he's trying on Kristi Noem's heels, but she also cosplays. You know what I'm saying? You have that going on. Remember the president of Liberty University that did that rally for Donald Trump? Come to find out that him and his wife had an escort who was a male, invited into their bedroom where he would watch certain things. Okay. Remember, you know, we have all these crazy things coming out about these males. You know, Lindsey Graham, you know, he never has a woman on his arm, but we already know what's going on there. The gays be knowing, the boys or the girls, shall I say, be knowing, and they've clocked him for quite some time. I've even showed you guys Donald Trump groping that UFC fighter, telling him he's a beautiful man. Stating, oh, you're a beautiful man and you're too beautiful to be fighting, while caressing his legs. Yeah. These are these type of people. You know what I mean? This is what we have going on. But I figured I'd just make you guys laugh at that little display of fucking around and find out, right? Because they're going to dig that up, right? The internet is undefeated. And I'm here to tell you, and I'm here for it. I am here for it. And lastly, but not least, I know people are alarmed. Oh, the lower courts said that Virginia's ballots are invalid. Here's the thing. Virginia's attorney general knows exactly what he's doing. What he's going to do, he's going to appeal it with the Supreme Court of Virginia. They're going to overturn it, the lower court's decision, because there's precedent. There's precedent that this is allowed. Okay. It is precedent this is allowed. Just give it a couple days. It'll be overturned back over. So don't worry. You did your thing, VA. You did what needed to be done. No sweat. This is pomp and circumstance right now, because it was a Republican judge who's like, no, throw it out. The higher court is going to say, no, actually, the referendum will be approved and we will carry on. Okay. There are some more elections, hot elections that are going on, special elections, and we have midterms. Make sure that you are registered to vote. Make sure that your registration is correct. Make sure that your name and everything lines up. Make sure they have not purged you off the voter roll. Make sure all of those things are set, that you know where to go. Make sure you know who's running. Check your ballot to make sure that you know who's running, because you also have a say-so who judges are. Remember that. Who's in your school board, because those matter too. Okay? Because right now in North Carolina, because of the pathetic state house that we have, that is ran by Republicans and have been run by Republicans for quite some time, have now held up $700 million from the Department of Education. So schools going into August will not see $700 million. Because they want to do what with it? They have no plan. And this is why you've got to get active, okay? This is why you've got to get active. And be in the know and don't follow the propaganda. Find the truth. Find the truth, like a space here. I'm going to break it down for you. But anyway, guys, it's been a great hour and a half, an hour and 25 minutes. I hope you guys learned something, enjoyed something, you know what I'm saying, and been informed about something. Make sure you hit that like, share, and subscribe. Donate to the coffee fund or send a super chat, become a member, comment on something that you would like for me to take a look at. I have been responding to all the comments of people asking me different questions. I love the interaction. They're asking me, what about this? What about that? I answer my comment section. I don't leave you guys hanging. Okay. I love the interaction, the questions and things like that. Even if we have differences of opinion, that is okay. Long as we can respectfully be on opposite ends and have a respectful debate. Now, when it starts to be getting a little, then that's when I got to push you to exit stage left. But again, thank you guys for attending Politics in Plain English, where we talk current political events and explain what's happening, why it's happening, and what it actually means. I will see you next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, same time, same place. Make sure you have your notification bell set and turned on so that you don't miss me. And if you are catching the replay, thank you for catching the replay, gang. And until next time.